Hello students. So in this video I'll be starting off with the new chapter called as the computer organization. So in this chapter you'll be studying about the various units of the computers, how each of the computers are interconnected with each other, what are the functionalities of the each units of the computers. So this is what you'll be studying in this computer organization. So what exactly is computer organization? Well, computer organization, as the word itself is telling, it's organization. So organization means that how various components are put together or they are placed in order. So computer organization is a study of how the various units of the computers are going to be interconnected with each other and how they are going to communicate with each other. So if you want the definition of computer organization, well, computer organization refers to the operational units and their interconnections that realize and recognize the specification of computers. So here, what is operational units? So operational units are units like the input unit, the output unit, our CPU and the memory units. So these are the operational units of our computers. So we are going to study about these operational units and how they are interconnected with each other and how they communicate with each other. So each of these components of the computers, they are able to understand each other. So they are going to interact with each other. So this is what we are going to study in our computer organization. So the next unit of this computer organization is the block diagram of computer. Already you students have studied about this block diagram of computers. Well, what are the four basic units of computers? Do you people remember it? The four basic units of computers are: first is my input unit, my central processing unit. My central processing unit has two more units. What is that? My control unit and my arithmetic and logic unit. The next unit is my memory unit, and then we have the output units. So you students have already studied about these units. What we are going to study in this chapter is in detail of each of these units. So we are going to go through each of these units in detail and try to understand its functionalities even more better. So let us go to the block diagram of our computer. So students, don't get confused. Whenever I ask you to write the block diagram of computer, this is what you have to draw. Okay, so we have the input unit, the output unit, the memory unit and the CPU. Here we can see that the input unit is going to communicate either with my memory unit or it's going to communicate with my CPU. This input unit cannot actually directly communicate with our output unit. It always has to communicate between our CPU and then only it can go to the output unit. So these arrows actually show how the communications is happening between each of the units of the computers. Then in the center we have the memory unit. This memory unit can communicate with my CPU. So it's going to send the information to the CPU and the CPU is again going to send the information back to the memory unit. Here we can see that the CPU is not actually going to send the information back to the input unit. Is it sending? No, the arrow does not indicate that the CPU can actually send back the information to the input unit. It's only going to receive the information from the input unit. And in my CPU we have the control unit and the arithmetic and logic unit. The arithmetic and logic uh, and arithmetic logic unit, they communicate with each other. That means its control unit can send the information to the arithmetic unit, as well as the arithmetic units can send back the information to the control unit. Then once the processing is done, the information can be sent to the output unit. We can see that the output unit will not be sending any information back to the CPU. Only task of output unit is to get the information from the CPU. So this is our block diagram of computer. So let us look into detail of each of the units of the computers. So the first unit that we are going to study is the input unit. So what is an input unit? Well, input unit, it is a unit that is going to receive the data and instructions from the user. So what is the functionality of the input unit? It's going to perform the following functions. So first thing is, it's going to accept the instructions and the data from the user. Next, it's going to convert those instructions and data into a format that's understandable to the computers. Students, remember that we are going to give instructions to the computers in the form of English language, right? We are using the keyboard to send the information, but the computer does not understand the English language. The only language that the computer is going to understand is the binary language. Binary language, what is binary language? It's the language that is in the format of zeros and ones. So any instructions or data that we are going to send to the computer, it is actually converted into binary format. So input unit is going to do that functionality. Then what it's going to do is that it's going to convert that instructions, and then it's going to send the data to the CPU, and the CPU is going to perform the further processing. So for example, if I want to save a file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mouse. I'm going to go to file option, and there I'm going to click on save. Right. So using this mouse is the input activity. I'm using the input unit, that is my mouse, and I'm moving the mouse and clicking on the file option. So this information is the mouse movement. So that is actually converted into the binary language, and then that information is actually sent to the CPU. Only when the CPU is receives that, only then it will be able to understand that the user actually wants to save the file. So only then it's going to do that saving of the file. So this is about the input unit. Some of the examples of input unit are what? Our keyboard. Keyboard is our standard input device. Then we have the graphic pad. Well, graphic pad, it's like a tab where we can actually draw the images. So you can see over here, this is the tab, and using this pen-like device, we can draw images. So this is mainly used for animation process. Then we have the webcam. So I'm sure we have all seen this webcam, right? In our for biometric attendance, we actually use this webcam. Then we have the mouse. Okay, this is also commonly used. Then we have the scanner. Well, scanner is going to actually take the files or any paper that we place it over here. It's going to scan it and it's going to save it in our system. So that's also an input device. So the printer that we have actually in our school, it actually acts as a printer as well as our scanner. Then we have the joystick. Joystick and trackball. These two devices are actually used for playing games. So we can actually rotate it in any direction, this stick. So playing games is more fun using this joystick or this trackball. So trackball also, it has a small ball in between, so we can rotate in any direction and we can play games. Then we have the digital camera. So digital camera is also an input device. Then we have the microphone. So microphone is also an input device which is going to take the input from the users in the form of sound. Then let us go to the output unit. So output unit, what is the functionality of an output unit? It is going to actually display the information to the user. Right. So what are the functionalities? Let us go through that. It is going to, the main function is that first it's going to receive the results from the CPU. Then it's going to convert those results into the human understandable format. Then it's going to supply that converted results back to the user. So for example, say that I want to print some data. Okay, so I have typed some Word document and I want to print that data. Maybe I have typed a letter and I want a printout of that letter. So what I'll do is I'm going to go to the print option over there and click on print. So this information, I'm using the keyboard to, or I'm using the mouse to actually print it. So this is the input device, that is the mouse. I'm going to use it to click on that print option and get the printout. But this information is actually sent to the CPU. The CPU is going to understand that I have clicked on the print option. So it's going to understand that when a user clicks on the print option, the user is actually asking that document to be printed. So the first thing that is going to happen is that the CPU is going to understand that the user wants to print it. So it is going to communicate with the printer. So the output unit is going to receive the information from the CPU. That is, my printer is going to get the information from the CPU. The CPU will be storing the data in the form of binary language. I told you, right? So even though I have typed the letter in English, it's going to store that information in the form of zeros and ones itself. It cannot understand any other language. So what the CPU is going to do is, it's going to send that data in the form of zeros and ones to the output unit, that is my printer. The printer, what it does is, it's going to again convert that data into human understandable format. That is, it's going to convert it into English language. So once it converts it into English language, it's going to print the data. So finally, it supplies that data to the user. This is the way the output unit functions. So what the output unit does is, first it receives the data from the CPU, then it's going to convert it into a format that's understandable by humans, then it's going to finally supply that results to the user. That is my output unit. So let us look into the different types of output unit. So we have the monitor, right? Monitor is the standard output device. Then we have speakers. So speaker is going to give us sound. So musics we can play. So that is also an output unit. We have the headphone. We can listen to music using headphones also. Then we have printer and plotter. So the difference between printer and plotter is that both are going to print the data itself. But plotters are used by engineers to actually draw maps. So construction maps, architecture maps, so those kinds of maps are actually drawn using plotters. So large scale maps, if we have to print, then we are going to use plotters. So that's the difference between the printer and the plotter. Then we have the projector. So whatever is displayed on the monitor, this projector is going to display that information on a screen. So even projector is an output device. So students, for now, this is what you have to learn. So we have learned about what is computer organization, what are different input and output devices. Just go through this video once more. Then in the next video, I'll be explaining to you the other parts of the computers or the other units of the computer. So students, take care. Bye.